Just a piece of advice for any aspiring YouTubers out there, technology sucks. However, I don't want to bring this video down with a bunch of negative vibes. I will warn you guys that editing on this one might be a bit lighter than usual, there might be a bit less cuts. If you didn't see the community post this morning, again, I don't want to talk about it here, just go to the community tab, just kind of scroll through and read what happened. It was one heck of a morning. Basically, until I can fix my PC, I'm gonna be editing on this laptop, which is like, it's a little old. I mean, it runs, it works. It took 20 minutes for me to boot it up. Like, I turned on the power button, and then it took like a whole 20 minutes for this screen to pop up, so, you know, that's a great sign. Last time I used it, it barely ran my editing software, but I'm gonna do the best that I can. That being said, as many of you probably know, I like to collect video games, and within like the last couple of months, I actually started collecting for the original Xbox, so I figured I'd just kind of go through and show you guys what games I've gotten so far. Usually, this is a video that I would put up on the second channel, because I actually have like a whole series on my other channel. It's basically just called like, why I'm buying blank. Like, for example, I did a video on the Wii U. I was like, this is why I'm buying Wii U games in 2022. This is why I'm buying PS4 games in 2022. And then I'd like go through and like show the games that I collected and such so far. I realized when I grabbed them, you know, because I keep all my games in alphabetical order. However, with the way that I stack them, it looks like we're going to be going in reverse of alphabetical order. So we're not going to linger on one game for too long because I have like 20 games to go through. So I'll just kind of like show you guys the front, the back, talk about the game a little bit, and then move on. So the first one we have here is Ultimate Spider-Man. I used to love this game back in the day. I had it on the PS2. It is a really fun game. I remember I was at a GameStop, right, and they had Ultimate Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, and I was given the option, do you want Spider-Man 2 or do you want Ultimate Spider-Man? At that moment, I chose Spider-Man 2, but then I actually ended up going back to that GameStop like just a week later to pick up Ultimate Spider-Man because, you know, I was at the counter, I was like real indecisive, I didn't know which one that I wanted, and then I was like, screw it, I want both. So I mowed a couple extra lawns, did a couple extra chores, got some extra money. And yeah, I must say, this game is an absolute blast. Some people kind of knock on this game for it being like relatively short. When I played it, I think I beat it in like less than 4 hours, but even despite that, it's a great game. And then next up, we have the Splinter Cell trilogy, Splinter Cell 1, Pandora Tomorrow, and Chaos Theory. These games are absolutely fantastic. If you haven't played them before, I highly recommend it. I honestly don't know which one I could say is my favorite. I love all of these games so much. I feel like this is one of those series where, like, as it went on, it just like, it kept up the momentum, you know? I must say, though, Chaos Theory had a lot of cheek-clenching moments in that one. That one had me on the edge of my seat, like, the entire time. And then next up, if you guys are gonna notice a trend, I really like Tom Clancy games, if I'm gonna be honest. So we got Rainbow Six 3 right here, and then I also have Ghost Recon 1 and 2. I love the Ghost Recon games, especially these original ones. I don't know why, there's just something about them. I'm into that type of gameplay. I've always loved that idea of like commanding a squad and being like somewhat tactical. I know some of the later Ghost Recon games, like I think Ghost Recon Wildlands, that one kind of dropped the tactical aspect. I mean, you know, these games weren't always as tactical as say something like a Rainbow Six game was, but they still definitely had tactical elements. But then once you get to like Ghost Recon Wildlands, it dropped all of those elements. Like, sure, you still had the squad commands, but it was nothing like the originals. It was basically just like, you know, your usual Ubisoft, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed type game, but in the Ghost Recon world. But I still had a lot of fun with that one regardless. These are games that, like, while they're popular, I feel like they deserve to be talked about, like, a bit more. There's also other great games in the Ghost Recon series that I can think of. You got, like, Advanced Warfighter and Future Soldier. Next up, this is a game that I didn't even know existed for the longest time, which is really surprising because this was actually one of my favorite movies as a kid. Like, I used to watch this movie all the time when I was younger. That is The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Like I said, I used to love this movie. I haven't gotten to dive in and play this game, but I'm really excited to do so because, again, I saw it as part of an Xbox lot because I like to go through and buy lots. It's a great way to, like, collect on the cheap. You know, you buy 4 games for the price of what would normally be 2 if you would buy them separately when you count in, like, shipping and all that. But anyway, I saw this as a part of a lot, and I was like, what? They had a game of that? So I knew I had to pick that lot up immediately just so I could get this, along with some other games that we have here. Next up, I feel like everybody that had an original Xbox has either had this or seen this at some point, but this is the duo pack of Star Wars The Clone Wars and Tetris Worlds. Honestly, I didn't even play this one yet since I purchased this game. I think I played it, like, once or twice back in the day at my cousin's house, but Tetris Worlds, man, I've been playing this game like crazy lately. I don't know what it is. The older I get, I don't know. I love Tetris. The most recent one that they came out with on Xbox One and PS4 was called like Tetris Effect, I think. The one with like all the music and it was like a real, I don't even know how to describe the look of it, but it was really cool. It was like electronic looking and sounding. Like the game just looked like really futuristic, really clean, and then there was like a lot of variation in the soundtrack. There was some pop tracks, some dubstep tracks, there was some more chilled out, like African sounding music track. I don't know. That game was honestly really cool. I love Tetris Effect. Next up, we got a classic Star Wars Battlefront. I didn't buy Battlefront 2 for the original Xbox yet because I already have it on my PS2. However, I'm probably going to pick it up on Xbox anyway, just because if you know anything about that generation of consoles, the Xbox versions of games tend to look the best compared to any other console. And, you know, I'm usually not like a graphics fanatic or an FPS fanatic, but I mean, if there's a better version of a game available, I might as well pick it up to see just how good it can look, and considering that Battlefront 1 and 2 are some of my favorite Star Wars games of all time, then I feel like I at least owe it to myself to see how good that game actually could look on, like, better hardware. Next up, this is my only game without a case, but that will be changing soon because I straight up went on eBay and I looked for a case-only copy of this game just so I could get a case. I'm one of those collectors. I need my game CIB. Well, they don't need to be CIB, like if they're missing a manual, that's okay, but I at least need the original case in game, and yeah, I'm just waiting for the case to come for this one. This is Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. Honestly, I never even played this one, but I saw it and I was like, it's a Scooby-Doo game. I gotta get it. I'm a sucker for like licensed tie-in games. I love movie tie-in games, just straight up like IP tie-in games like Battle for Bikini Bottom, or you know, like all the Spider-Man games and stuff like that. I don't know what it is, just something about seeing like my favorite IPs in video game form that I love, whether it be like movies, cartoons, shows. It's just, I don't know, I've always been a sucker for tie-in games like that. Next up, this is like a trilogy that everybody needs to play in their life at least once, but we have the Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, Prince of Persia: Warrior Within, and Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. These three games are absolutely phenomenal. Please play them. If you have a PS2, an Xbox, heck, even if you just have a PC, you know, find a way to emulate it. These three games are so good, especially Sands of Time. At least play Sands of Time. This is a game that everybody must play at least once in their life, but like I highly recommend these two as well. Like they're all amazing. Next up, we got Metal Gear Solid 2. I mean, what can I say? It's Metal Gear Solid 2, man. I absolutely love the Metal Gear franchise. Whether we're talking the original Metal Gears, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, that is actually in my top 5 games of all time. I honestly liked Metal Gear Survive. I know that's a controversial statement among the Metal Gear community, but I honestly don't care. I play games, I enjoy games, I don't really care what the popular opinions are. I play games and form my own opinion. I don't really care what series that game is a part of. If it's a fun game and I enjoy it, and that's all that really matters to me. I'll never understand the trend of like hopping on internet hate bandwagons and hating on things that most people haven't even like played or given a fair shake. It just always seemed really counterproductive and just, I don't know, kind of stupid to me, honestly. I am literally just the walking embodiment of a hot take. There were so many games that got dunked on that I absolutely love. And I've talked about this before, but I just have a hard time hating things. There's not really any games, movies, shows, quite literally anything that I can think of that I just like, I outright hate or I don't like, I don't know, I'm kind of weird. I like everything in some sense or another. The only thing I can think of in life that I don't like is horseradish sauce. Look, okay, because I'm a sucker for like lunch meat sandwiches, you know. You get 2 pieces of bread, slap some turkey or ham on there, throw a piece of cheese on it. For me, it has to be vegan cheese because I'm lactose intolerant, and you know, anytime I try to eat cheese, it tries to kill me and my insides. And then I like to put some sort of sauce on it, whether it be like honey mustard, mayo, barbecue sauce, Chick-fil-A sauce, whatever, the list goes on. This one time I seen this sauce called like horseradish sauce, and on the bottle I was like, hey, this is great on beef and stuff. So, you know, I grabbed some roast beef lunch meat. I was like, yeah, I'm about to dig into this. I'm about to try this. So, you know, I put on my slices of roast beef, put on my American cheese, grabbed the 2 pieces of bread, and then instead of serving of like horseradish sauce, it was like a tablespoon. So I said, okay, I'm gonna trust you. I opened the bottle, I took a whiff, I was like, woo, that's strong, that's potent, but hey, instead of serving as a tablespoon, so I'll go ahead and do that. And that's usually how much I do. I do literally exactly like a tablespoon every time that I make my sandwiches. A tablespoon with literally every sauce is the perfect amount, perfect ratio, everything like that, and that's what it said a serving was for that. So I put it on my piece of bread. Next thing you know, when I went to take a bite, I swear to God, somebody was trying to poison me. I took a bite, and all of a sudden, all of my senses were not just insulted, but also assaulted. My taste buds were screaming. My eyes were watering. My ears, I don't know, they found a way to be affected by all this too. My nose felt like somebody just shot acid up it. And the thing is, I never waste food, no matter what it is, no matter how much it tastes like poison. And honestly, that tasted like straight acid. So you want to know what happened? I finished that sandwich. It wasn't easy to get down, but I managed to do it. And let me just say, I didn't feel the greatest. Long story short, I'm a pretty happy, open-hearted guy, and I like just about anything and everything. I don't know, that's just how I am, that's my personality. But there is one thing that I absolutely despise, and that is horseradish sauce. And then next up, we got Medal of Honor Frontline. This game's actually pretty good. They had a lot of good Medal of Honor games on the original Xbox and the Xbox 360. I wish that series would make a comeback. I had a lot of fun with those games. Next up, we got the obvious picks, Halo 1 and 2. If you get an original Xbox and you don't get Halo 1 and 2, I don't even know what you're doing. Next up, we got Fable 1, one of my favorite RPGs of all time. This game is absolutely amazing. Speaking of RPGs, I want to get Jade Empire. I loved that game back in the day, and the fact that I haven't picked it up yet is admittedly a bit of a sin. Next, we got NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Honestly, I never even played this one. It was just part of a lot. I mean, I want to play it at some point because it seems like it has a cool career mode where you have to like fight to the top of the. Honestly, I don't know NASCAR. I don't know how any of it works. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head right now, just from what I've heard about the game, a review I watched, and what's on the back. But apparently, it's like this whole ladder thing, kind of similar to like your UFC and WWE games where you're trying to climb to the top, fight to the top, trying to be like the #1 champion or whatever. So, you know, I'm gonna give this one a shot at some point. Next up, we got Call of Duty Finest Hour. This is actually one of my favorite Call of Duties. I mean, I am biased, and it is just a nostalgia thing because I had it on PS2 back in the day, and I absolutely loved that one. And finally, American Chopper 2 Full Throttle. Another one that I've never played, but it looks to be like a motorbike game of some sort. It actually looks pretty cool. That's pretty up my alley. I mean, there's other things too outside of the motorcycle stuff, apparently. More pressure, more remote action, more player interaction, more choppers, more customization, so I don't know, that's one I'll check out at some point. I mean, I might as well. I own the game. Anyways, yeah, to answer the question of the title of why I'm buying Xbox games in 2023, well, it's because Xbox games are very, very cheap right now. You can pick up a lot of these games for less than $10, some of them actually less than $5. So yeah, if you've been thinking about collecting for the original Xbox, now would definitely be the time to do it because it's super cheap. Again, another apology if, you know, this video's editing wasn't on par with my other videos. I am editing it on this laptop after all. I'm going to be troubleshooting my PC all day, so hopefully I can get that fixed by tomorrow. Hopefully I can, I don't know. I still have 2 days left on my Prime trial, so I might try to go on and see if I can get some like same-day delivery parts sent to me. I'm pretty sure it's mainly a power supply issue. There was also a couple other worrying things going on down there, so I'm just gonna have to do some troubleshooting later and try to figure it all out. I'm not too worried. I'm Asian, which means I got the brains, so shouldn't be too big of a problem for me. Anyway, as always, a shout out to the Patrons and channel members, Karma's Fake, Grandma, Liberty Tab, Big Dano, Annie, Chulubasaurus, Rex, Ray, Zach, Polar, Ray, Webster, Lamas, Bianca, Spurgatory, Drippy, Mellow, Last King, Cupid, Imagine, Miss, Intervin, July 15, Fleming, Savvy, 1, Aaron, and Unknown. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. And remember, don't go hollow. And no matter what happens, no matter what PC troubles are going on, even if I do have to edit them on this laptop, I don't care. You guys are going to get nothing less than my all, no matter what the circumstances are. So yeah, no matter what happens, there will still be daily videos. They'll still be going up at the same time. So yeah, y'all can look forward to that. But anyways, love you guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.